Welcome back to Studio 5. The role of mom comes with plenty of responsibility and, as a result, plenty of guilt. Here is proof. We asked this question on our Facebook page. As a mom, what makes you feel guilty? Our feed lit up. Here's a couple of comments. Colleen Hardy, I feel guilty by not scrapbooking. All of my kids' baby pictures are in files on the computer. That makes me sad. For Trina, the guilt comes when she considers how much time her kids spend watching movies or on the iPad every day. Catherine says, when I see my faults or insecurities manifested in my children. For Tanya, it's when she loses it with her kids at the end of a long day. A lot of moms sympathize with that. Tiffany Nicholas feels guilty when she spends money on herself, yelling, forgetting to help the tooth fairy, guilt over how people treated their own moms. I could go on and on. Well, what if we said you could be a guilt-free mom? It's a promise Studio 5's Dr. Matt Townsend says is possible. I was amazed at the long list, and it was immediate. I mean, when we put the question out there, within an hour, there were 100 responses.
Who would think that a mom would feel guilt?
Guilt. It's a heavy word.
It's funny because I think the guys, we don't think that way.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it, if we threw the question out to men?
Ours would be good. I mean, ours would probably be, we need to spend more time.
Right.
I need to be more caring.
But some of these were detailed. I mean, some of these were very specific.
And some of these have nothing to do with being a mom. It's a daughter that's guilty about how her mom, she treats her mom or whatever. I mean, it's weird stuff like spending money on herself. So what I want to point out, though, is a lot of these things make it so that when you do have a spare moment, you can't even enjoy the spare moment because you're so caught up in the guilt. And what we're also going to get into is a lot of the things we're going to talk about. If we could just change our view of what we're thinking about 1 or 2 degrees, we would probably alleviate some of the guilt. The guilt's there to teach us we need to change what we're doing. And if we keep feeling guilt, then we still probably haven't changed the right thing. A lot of moms think we need to do more in order to get rid of the guilt.
Right, the faster I spin my wheels, the more I'm going to get done.
Not true. Maybe what you need to do is just the right thing and focus on the right thing. And by the way, most of the time the right thing tends to be the intangibles, the things we never actually focus on.
So it might not be possible to get rid of guilt altogether, but we can alleviate it. Use it as a
You don't want to get rid of all guilt, or you would no longer have a feedback loop. You need a feedback loop telling you, oh, don't do that. That was rude. But then you need to listen to it and then change what was rude or change what you should be doing. Every one of those parents have one thing that's telling them to do something different. Every one of those women are, but we don't go there. Instead, we just wallow in our guilt, or we go medicate with some chemistry, some Diet Coke, some chocolate, and we get over it. But I want us to start to focus. So there's 4 areas, of course. I always do 4, right? First key, celebrating principles more than performances. A lot of those activities that were mentioned that they wish they could do, there were just more things to perform. But one of the keys I found in getting rid of some of my guilt is recognizing why I do what I do. Why am I doing what I do? Why is it that I need to spend more time with my son? It's not to just sit there and play video games. It's so there's a principle behind it of connection. Here's an example. My son needs tires on his truck. They were bald as can be. I didn't dare let him drive in the rain. So I risked my life, and I'm driving today to take this truck down to get tires. While I'm sitting there to get tires, I'm just performing an act, really. Anybody could have done it. But I'm reading a book about what my life is about and what my life could be about that motivates me. So when I'm having some of my time, instead of just fulfilling a role of getting something done, a performance, I'm trying to understand why I'm here and why I'm doing this for my son and how this will impact my son. I'm trying to figure out what I want out of my life. And as I spend my time on those things, and actually focusing on those, instead of just fulfilling a ton of performances, I'll probably alleviate some guilt because I'll know more what I'm about.
Can I throw out a scenario? How would that apply to the Facebook friend who said, at the end of the day, I feel guilty when I lose it at my kids. When my patience is I'm at the end of my rope, my patience is thin.
Huge.
So how can we apply that principle versus performance in that case?
One simple rule, we don't spend a lot of time acquiring the art of patience. Well, you know what we get really good at is the art of pretense. I want my kids to look good and cute, and we're really good at becoming pretentious. That's where we spend our time, is pretending to be patient. And if we spent the exact same amount of time learning to be patient, it would really make a big deal.
Now, what do you mean pretending to be patient?
Well, I have a son that is he's 17, he's a student body officer, he's 18, he should have had his senior pictures taken, and those pictures should have been in the yearbook. Well, he just told us the yearbook passed, and there's no way to get those pictures in there.
Oh, no.
And we're freaking out. You gotta have your pictures in the yearbook. What are you thinking? Where'd the patience go?
Out the window.
To what?
to the missing photos?
The pretense that my boy is an officer, a student body officer, and he's not going to have his best picture in there. He goes, I'll just put my junior picture in. No, you won't. So all of a sudden, all my energy's gone because I have to hold up this pretense. You're a leader, man. Lead. Get your picture in that yearbook. But really what I ought to be figuring out is, and we were just hearing it on the earlier segment, how do I handle kids that don't think like me, that have a little anxiety or a little ADHD or a little depression? How do I handle that without my pretense getting involved? Well, the art of that is instead of getting angry, just recognize that's just my ego going off. How do I grow patience? And start figuring out and spending that exact same amount of time learning patience. This is the chance of a lifetime to learn patience with a son that wouldn't take his picture.
And the guilt then starts to dissipate once you're able to apply real patience.
Well, the guilt actually doesn't need to be there if you're doing what you know you should be doing. So guilt we don't have to get rid of. We just have to do what we're supposed to do. And once we do, amazingly, guilt disappears.
I love it.
Every time.
I love it. I'm sure the junior picture is just great.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Sure, he looks like a 12-year-old. It's fine forever.
What's the third step?
Third step, very simple. Extend your power with people, not over people. A lot of us, especially when we're parents and we're in leadership roles, we're good at extending our power over our children. But one of the greatest things I've ever learned is if you want power with another human being, it demands that they honor you. Power and honor really go hand in hand, especially if you believe that people have agency. So if somebody else has agency to make choices in their lives, I can't oppress them and have power over them and have them grow their agency. So I need to actually have power with them to help them move their agency where it would be healthiest. One of the great ways I found to eliminate guilt is stop oppressing everyone around you. Stop compelling everyone else in your world to be what you need them to be, and instead see if you can't start influencing. So instead of being the sheep herder from behind whipping, be the shepherd in front that they want to honor and follow. Spend your time building the relationship in such a way that they honor you, not that they have to be compelled by you.
Right, they're not scared of you.
And that's hard. And I think that's a big thing that induces guilt, because once you go off on a kid, you know you're more oppressing than having power with.
Good stuff, Matt.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's what it's about.
That's fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, you have a date night coming up.
You know what? You got to be there.
I will be there.
I know you will. With Marty, you don't want to miss that.
Yes.
It's coming up November 15th, 7 p.m., Olympus Junior High. This is where we're going to teach you how to create peace with people. Some people, Brooke, you don't know this, but some people are irritating.
Oh, really?
Some are just drive you crazy. And yet we're going to teach you how to deal with those people.
Okay.
And how to have peace. Go to datenightswithmatt.com. Tons of fun.
I'll learn that lesson. I will be there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brooke.
Okay, look polished but not over the top. The formula for layering your jewelry. Next on Studio 5.